Alrighty then, another day, another video. So the first video in this series got pretty good results, decent views, at least for me. So I am making the next video in the series. Now this video will not be the second tab because there are some things that we need to address. So like I said last time, I'm not an Instagram user, so I'm just kind of figuring it out as I go. But what I noticed is there is a dark view. Duh. Dark view obviously is super popular. Just about every half decent application is going to have a dark mode. So yeah, that's what we're going to build today. As you can see, this is the screenshot from my iPhone from the last video. This is a screenshot from the same phone and app in dark mode. And this is the dark mode version of our application that we're going to be building. The light mode is still there. So this is light mode. So the way that I want to do this, because I am into design and architecture as well as programming, is I want to make this as reusable and maintainable as possible. So we're going to be integrating dark mode, but we're going to do it in a way that is changeable over time without going crazy, because as you can imagine, if developer Joe set the font here to white and Jill set this to blue and 30 other people set it to whatever they want hard-coded into the code, 2 months later when the boss says, okay, we need to get everything down to a single theme and 3 or 4 colors, that would be a nightmare to fix. So yeah, we're going to try and design this properly. Also, and let me swing this back to dark mode. Also, I'm sure you noticed there was a couple of items that I didn't do in the last video. Part of the reason is because I forgot, but part of it is because that video was over an hour. So I don't want to do videos much over an hour. But anyway, one of the things that I missed is this footer. I missed this entire section right here. So I didn't even realize this thing was a thing. So let me show you the original. So it's likes, I guess the top comment, and then some relevant comments. Click to view all the comments, and then an ability to add your own comment as well as the timestamp of the content. So we're gonna put that in there with these emojis. We're also going to make this thumb reusable, which I forgot to do, but we're gonna do that in this video so that we can use a single control not only for these guys, but for this and for the add comment and this. So we're going to work to tweak some things and make it reusable. So like I said, the views were pretty good. The likes were pretty good. So if you guys want to keep seeing this content, which it looks like you do, and have me go to the next tab, the next tab, the next tab, and then finally to our server, which will, as I said, have authentication and a Postgres database, then you need to keep getting my views up and liking the video. There's a share button for your social media beneath the video, so you can share the link to the video with that button pretty easily. So let's get going. All right, so as you can see here, I have all of these colors, and I have these colors pre-made and pre-named because, like I said, I want to make things more reusable. So the images and stuff I moved into their own folders, but basically we're going to have the primary secondary style, which is coming off of the style that Apple uses in iOS. So we're going to have, because this application doesn't really have much in terms of different theming colors, we're just going to stick with black, white, and gray. So depending on the mode, dark mode, light mode, you're going to have either black font or white font or gray font or white font. And then tertiary is sort of like an accent color. And under certain situations, I might use that instead, like some of these fonts right here or this icon right here. Okay, so we need to make use of these colors in a reusable way. Clearly, we are not doing that right now because you have all of this repetitive stuff that we're doing. Like you can see, and doing these one-off repetitions, it makes it hard to get a consistent style. And of course, it makes it hard for coding as well, because you might have to, if you need to change something across all images, you might have to go through 500 images to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to create not really controls, but extensions off of the main controls like image and text, so that they can have a consistent whatever it is, resizable, aspect ratio, frame, or whatever, depending on what the view item is. So then we don't need to worry about whether it's having the proper theme or whether the base settings on that control are consistent or not. So we're going to create this ViewModifiers folder. And the reason why we're creating this folder is because, as I mentioned in the last video, there's really only three main things inside of Swift UI. You either have state, and state is what drives your UI. So the state changes, your UI will re-render as appropriate. And then there's views, and just about every single thing in Swift UI that is a visible thing is a view. So that includes even smaller controls like image, text. In fact, even colors are views in Swift UI. And then you have the thing that will modify or transform a view, which is ViewModifiers. So those three main things are really the core of Swift UI. So we're going to create this folder, and we're going to put in some view modifiers or related type code in here. Now here's the thing. So let me show you what a view modifier, a custom view modifier looks like. Let's see here. All right. So the reason why I want to show you this first is I want to juxtapose this versus sort of a trick that I found to reduce some of the boilerplate. So yeah, when you take a view and you want to modify it in some way, you create a view modifier, name it whatever you want, and then override whatever the members are, right? So the issue is there's some extra boilerplate code that has to be created, or not that has to be, but that usually is created in order to make it more consumable. So what I mean by that is inside of here, there is a view modifier object based off of the protocol. Okay, so this thing is really just a function that is wrapping the real view modifier. And then the way that you would, if you hadn't created this function, the way that you would call into it is you would use this, and then you would call the modifier, the custom modifier, right? So, you know, this isn't it's a lot of boilerplate code if you saw this written, you know, dot modifier, and then the modifier, whatever this is, 8 times or 7 times or whatever, right? So you can wrap it in a function. So the way we would do that is color blend. So we would do something like this, right? And then we would return the modified view, and then we would call this instead, and then we would you know, have our what is that? Have our view modifier run that way. So if you're doing only one of these, then it's not a big deal. But if in a big project, you might create who knows how many, 40, 50 of these. It's just not always necessary. So what I'm going to do for some of my view modifications capability is I'm going to create extension methods. So here's our boilerplate, right, that we've been using a lot. And I'm gonna explain the modifier, but I just want to do this first. So this is an image, so we're using the primary color. Okay, so what is this? So what is going on here? So obviously, so I'm just going to assume that you guys already know Swift basics. So obviously, I'm adding some capability into my image view, and that would be this function right here, name style insta style primary. Yes, that's a terrible name, but anyway. So this means that it's going to be transforming my image, right? My image instance in some way, and then it's going to give it the primary color. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to explain this in a moment. So because I didn't create a wrapper function around my view modifier, I'm calling the modifier method, and then I'm passing in an instance of my actual modifier. Okay, and then this color indicates the primary color, which, as I said before, will auto switch between light and dark mode. So primary color in dark mode is white. It is black in light mode. So that gets us the primary for images. So I'll just copy and paste this part. So now we have our secondary. Copy and paste this for our tertiary. So now what this means is I'll have an image, blah, blah, blah image. And instead of doing all of this every single time, I just do this. And then I can also add my, resizing and add whatever else I need to do. But so that's totally compatible. It doesn't prevent that. But I get, all these view modifiers basically for free. And this is a shorter example, but you saw some of our other stuff where, it was quite long and it might, in your project, it might repeat, right? So this can be quite useful in terms of code reuse and kind of eliminating boilerplate. So whoops. All right. So then what is a view modifier? So a view modifier inherits from this view modifier protocol. It can have internally some properties in it. And in this case, it has this color property, which we are using right here because this is a struct. And that means that whenever you create a property, it will automatically create the initializers for you to fill in those properties. Okay, so this thing being passed in is ultimately going to set this to whatever, right? And that's why we're able to just call it right here, right? If I wanted to make it more clear, I'll do that, but it's redundant. So anyway, so we are inheriting from this, and then we override this property similar to the view body property, but it's a func. And then what we're doing here is we are stacking, ZStacking, which means you're stacking things on the Z axis, right? X, Y, Z axis. And it's sort of like stacking a bunch of papers on top of each other. So obviously the one that's on the top is the one that you're going to be able to see. And if the bottom ones happen to be bigger or rotated or whatever, you might see some of the edges beneath, right? So what we're doing is we're saying, give me the content, whatever that content may be, and then sit on top of it a specific color, right? And this color is this guy right here. Okay, and then blend what's underneath with this color in a certain specific way. And in this case, source atop, it means that it's basically like having one of those cardboard cutout layers where you cut out some words or something in the cardboard and you lay it on top of, let's say, a t-shirt or a wall or something. And then you can paint over the cardboard and the only thing left is, the cutout piece. So that's what we're doing here, right? On top of this content. So then this thing is saying, make everything else non-opaque, meaning invisible. So therefore, we're only going to see the shape of the content in this color. So that's what's happening here. So then why am I doing this? The reason is these assets, these icons are all SVG. So I had thought that because they're SVG, Swift UI would be able to, just change the color just by setting the color. But that doesn't work. So I am layering a desired color. So this this passes in as a parameter. Okay, and if it's not clear, it passes in as a parameter, but this is a modifier, so it's modifying this. Okay, so that's where this content is coming from. All right, so this content is coming from the fact that this is a modification of some view, and that's where this is coming from. So then, as I said, it takes that content, sits a color on top of it, makes a cutout in the shape of the content, which, for example, in the case of this icon would be the lines on this paper airplane, right? And then returns it without the background, and therefore it gets colorized. So a long roundabout way of coloring these things, but nevertheless, that's what I had to do. So we're gonna start, using this extension function and eliminate or reduce some of our boilerplate code and make our styling more consistent. And then before I start using it, I'm gonna add another folder for our text. So we're gonna create some extensions for our text as well. And I will create another horrible name. All right, so what did I do here? Okay, so as I said, it's an extension of the text view, and extension means it's going to be another function, and we're going to keep our naming scheme consistent. And again, we're sort of kind of doing our own view modifier without using the view modifier protocol. So we're taking our text object, our text view, and we're putting a specific font on it. So since this is a primary font, it's going to be a little bit bigger. And then of course we're going to do primary font color, and we're going to make this bold again because it's a primary font. All right, so that compiled, and I'm going to copy and paste these for the secondary and tertiary. And we don't need the bold. All right, if you hear me going or it's because I hate Xcode. Moving right along. All right, so that compiles. So now we're going to start replacing stuff as much as possible. So we got our Insta. I gotta make sure I do this properly. What am I doing? Secondary. Oh yes, we can't start with this. We cannot start with this. All right, so we can't we can't do the thumbs yet, the thumbnail view, because I have to put it into its own control so we can reuse it. And on top of that, some of the ring, the method that I chose to build the ring out and stuff wasn't working in dark mode. So we're gonna have to revisit this a little bit later. But for now, we will start changing these other styles. So as you can see, it makes things a little bit cleaner. If we had a lot more view modifiers, then it would be even more helpful. But obviously we don't. So let's see here. What else can we do? So for now, let's just do everything. I mean, I'm going to refactor, like I said, a lot of this code. But for now, let's just do... actually, this is going to be custom, so I don't want to do this one. Okay, this is going to be part of the thumb thing, so I don't want to touch that. This is going to be a primary. So if we need to, we'll tweak these. So that's the title. We're not going to mess with that. Let's see what we get. All right, so that looks pretty close. So as you can see here, it's all cut off and messed up. So we need to fix that. So actually, I did not want to change this. Yep, I wanted to keep that bluish color. All right, so we're gonna fix the thumbnail, and we're gonna fix it by creating a file called person thumb to put our code into. So I'm gonna rename this. All right, so I hate it. Okay, there it is. So we know that this is going to be left alone. This is our thumb. So we're going to copy this. Yes, that's right. So I had to come up with a different way of creating these rings, the inner ring and the outer ring. And I came up with a fabulous method that I invented myself. Actually, I'm being serious. I I couldn't find a solution, so I had to come up with my own. But so if we, so let's say, for example, I just load this. So let's do this. Because I want to be able to allow people to customize the size. And sometimes because the order of these view modifiers matters, if you have certain modifiers ahead and then let's say you have this in a control and it spits out and then you want to modify the frame width or height or whatever, it doesn't always work because the order of these matter. So this is why I'm creating a variable for this. So we're going to have that. And then if I replace this control for our new person thumb control, so person is going to be, person width is going to be, was it column width? What was it? Oh, I don't have it in here. All right, so we're going to have to thumbs header. So we're going to have to grab that. Oh no, what am I saying? No. This is going to be just a straight up. We don't need that at all. All right, let's, what is going on here? Let's fix the formatting a bit. So if this worked, then this should still be what it was before, and it is. So it does work. And we'll replace all the other calls down here after we fix this. So right now, we have this padding, and then we have an overlay ring around the padding. And therefore you had white, and then you had a black ring. I'm talking about in my test app. So this doesn't work, obviously, as you can see. So this is why I created a ZStack, so that I will have my main image, the thing which is the thing that I want to be visible, to be on top, which is why it's on the bottom of the ZStack. And then I'm going to have a rectangle that is just slightly wider. So I use 7, but it is slightly wider than the image itself, and it has a background color. So we're gonna reuse our themes. So again, in dark mode, this is gonna be white. In light mode, it's gonna be black. So we need to clip the shape as a circle. But remember, this is 7 bigger, so it should show off around the edges. And then this should be white. This guy should be white, or opposite. So that's why I'm setting primary, I believe it was inverted color. Primary color invert. Primary color invert, meaning the opposite, right? And then let's see what we have. Ta-da! So I hope that was pretty clear. ZStack, lay this down first, this rectangle, lay the image on top of it. The image is slightly narrower then the rectangle. Therefore, the edge of the rectangle shows through. The edge of the rectangle is the primary color, which in dark mode is white, I think. Yeah, it is white. And then I use an inverted color for the image. So if you look carefully, you can see this black ring and then the white, right? So then if I change this back, keep on using the scroll. Okay, if I change this back, reload it, you can see now it's a black outer ring and a white inner ring. Okay, so this is what I had to fix. So now we go back to dark mode, just in time for Halloween. So of course we need to find where the other thumbs are at. So where was, okay, header. So then we have 3 dots. Right, because this is the text and then this is the image. So I want to remember the width at 30. See if anything else unusual is here. Nope. So we got, what the heck did I call this thing? Person thumb. And then we got person dot name. Whoops. Wrong. Then we got width. That was 30. So you see how this is cut off around the top and the left and right and all that? So let's see if this fixes it. Okay, bam. That was fixed. Looking good. All right, make this a little bit bigger. Okay, there we go. So now, as I said before, this footer has all of this stuff and then the thumbnail. So we got to create that. As you can see, there's nothing, where is it? There's nothing underneath here. And then I have this messed up icon. So we're going to fix that. And we're going to do that by adding a couple of additional separated controls. So we'll move this in here. And let's see here. It's got a little bit complicated. All right. So this thing over here is actually going to get moved out. So all of this is getting moved out and it's getting put into a file called footer action bar view. As I said before, I'm terrible at naming things. Okay. So I'm going to grab this. All right. So that goes away. So again, we're talking about this row right here, and we haven't added this none of this text yet. So we're just talking about this row right here. So the first thing that I want to fix is, again, once I converted to dark mode, some of the stuff, the images and stuff wasn't working properly. So I had to switch some of them. So one of them was to switch to this guy. Oh, failed. Why? Oh, Duh. Okay. So we don't need the rotation anymore. I think it's secondary. Oh no, it's primary. Let's try that again. No wonder. Things got complicated in this refactor, so it's difficult to remember everything. Okay, so the reason why the colors are off is because I haven't switched to our theme. So I'm going to do that right now. And of course we should make these alike. So that's what I'm doing now. Just want to make sure I don't miss anything. There, that looks better. And then I have to do the last one all the way on the right. The bookmark that is disappeared from visibility. Yes. All right. So this is zoomed in, obviously, but it looks pretty close. Again, I don't have their icons, so I am guessing and estimating. All right. So now we have a nice clean footer top bar, I guess you could say. And it's being called inside of here. And then I want to create the content piece. So another awesome name is going to be mini add comment view. Yeah, okay. So we're going to need a person. And I just went ahead and created local state, even though we're not ready to use any of this stuff yet. But we will later, assuming you guys get me the views and everything is cool, then we will have more videos. All right, so here you can see the thumb. Oh yes, that's right. I was confused for a moment. This will be this guy right here, and this will be inside of here, but I will show you that in a moment. What the heck am I doing? All right, so we need our person and we need our width. The width is going to be 15. Now, another thing that I noticed is that amongst the different sizes, it started affecting the look of it. So as the sizes got smaller, the line widths had to get smaller too. So I am going to add that ability right now. I think I did 3. We'll test it in a moment. Okay. All right, let's see. Yep, that still looks okay. And then there's our little thing here. This is too big. Let's try half that. Whoops. Let's try half that. Still too big. Let's see what I put. I put 2. How is that possible? All right, so that looks good. And we got that. So I changed to our styling theming. So now we need to put in our bunch of text, all of this stuff. So I'm going to put in just basically placeholders. So let's say that this guy got 23 likes. Like, I don't know why the IntelliSense just suddenly disappears. Is something broken? No, it's building. All right. So like I said, I'm going to pretend that this is coming off of the database. For now, we just hard code. Do you enjoy programming? All right, guys, last one. You will be amazed at the results. Yes, it compiled. No typos. All right. The padding is just way too big. All right, so the bookmark is back. None of these have padding, but the bigger problem is this guy is not showing. Oh, because I never finished it. Duh. All right. So what did I do here? This was extremely tough because I had to add the emojis. Where are they? Here they are. All right. Heart. Close enough. What's this? 2 hands. Oh, there it was. Okay. So now the IntelliSense comes back. Awesome. Tertiary. Whoa. That's probably going to be wrong. Of course, I totally skipped the text field. Now, this is going to be because we need rounded corners. And a rounded corner needs a stroke. And a stroke needs a color. And we will use primary color. And we will have a line width of 0.2. Probably didn't close the parentheses. Nope. No placeholder text. Okay. Add a comment. Now what is the issue? Oh, what am I doing? I am out of my mind. All right. So now we add an overlay. All right. So that was clearly too big. Okay, that's much better. So yeah, I don't have all of the text and stuff that's in here. I'll be sure to put more in once we get stuff working, I guess, on the back end. I'm just checking. And what I mean is, after the view all 3 comments right here, you can see that there's some comments that were kind of put in. So I'm missing those. I'll just take care of those later. I am interested to know why in the heck the gaps are so wide. All right, so I know why. So the ZStack is going to contain everything a little bit tighter. Let's get rid of this. All right, ta-da! There we go. Beautiful, sexy, dangerous. We are looking good. All right, that's it, ladies and germs. We are done. Dark mode in Instagram clone. So if you want to see the next video, get me some views, share this link in your social media, like the video, all that good stuff. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them, but please put them on my site, DzHaven.com, and I will answer them there.